This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live by request to review Wakanda Forever. Okay. Um, Let me do some of these. Cisco Perez, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Corn AFC 84. He says, how you doing, Kurt from London? Everybody hit the like button. Absolutely, Karn. I agree 100%. Rene Padilla in the building. Um, let's see. Karn AFC 84. Is this a review? Absolutely. This is the official review of what I saw. I apologize. The strangest thing happened. Uh, I got up early this morning, took the kid to school, and I put Troy on to watch TV. Well, I got up, and here's the thing: I got up, and this is how your mind plays tricks on you. I got up and I looked, and it was like 11 o'clock. I was like, "Damn, 11 o'clock! Wow." And I know the review was at 9:30. So what I did was I started doing some other stuff, and I went out and I fought in a war, and I'm like, okay. And I thought the world's come to find out I was still asleep. So when I got up and I was like, damn, it just turned 10. So that's why I got up, and now we're definitely in the mix with this review. And let me knock out some of these comments, you guys. Have you watched it yet, Renee? This the film that is. Yeah, yeah. If you guys haven't watched it, I don't want to spoil it, okay? Because I hate spoilers. I hate people that sit there and tell me the whole movie. I asked you how it was. I didn't ask you everything in the movie. That's one of my pet peeves. I had an ex that did that. She wanted to know what the movie was all about, what happened in the movie. Now I can watch it, and I'm like, no. How about you just sit down and wait and watch? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't get that at all. Kurt, what's happening? You filming the third? You mean December 3rd? Yeah, yeah. I'll be live the third. Are you talking about Fury and Chisor? Yeah. A British showdown. Why not? You know, King Mike Hall in the building. Counterpunch to you, David, Mick, Kurt. Hope you're okay. Everything's good. St. Don. Good day to you, my brother. Wang Chai. Good to see you. Props from Hong Kong. Counterpunch to you, brother. Hong Kong in the building. Um, Liverpool from David Mix in the building. OG Tariq from Philly, salute. Tariq, counterpunch to you, brother. Fight with sticks, stones, and bottles in the streets of Philly. Rene Padilla, Kurt, it's been a long time, brother. I've been in your live, and I've been trying to send you videos about boxing, but I just remember that a guy had me blocked before you got your account back. Oh, yeah, that was crazy, man. It was a cat. He was from Nigeria. A guy came in to my account, blocked me, blocked a lot of people that knew it was me, like it wasn't him. So yeah, he would block you. So when you start asking him questions, dude, I got the account back, and then the guy came and took it again. So I had to get it back. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. But yeah, the dude contacted a lot of people that I was in contact with. This Nigerian cat. Um, he like I'm gonna give you an example. Like Tom Jones, Showbiz the Adult, Ness from the Boxing Voice. Um, I mean, so many people he reached out to, and it was mad, and they already knew, like, okay, what's going on with this. Um, uh, Sam Jones was another. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. Um, Raymond Kenneth watching from Minneapolis. Counterpunch to you. Okay, Mick means Mac, not Mick. Okay, David Mack. Yeah, like McDonald's. Absolutely. Um, Tariq, I'd love to visit Philly because I'm a big fan of the Rocky Mountains. You're so lucky to come from Philly. Hmm. Been to Philly a gang of times. I don't know when the next time I ever go back. But yeah, I've been to Philly several times. I had an ex from out that, well, she lives there. She's not from there. Any Americans here looking forward to the World Cup and playing against England? St. Don, how about that? Be a tough name against USA. Um, David Mack, no problem, no problem. Okay, so uh first off, I don't know if you guys know, I talk boxing every day. Every day it's my passion. But my 9 to 5, if you want to call it a 9 to 5, I'm an actor and a stunt performer. And one of my jobs as a stunt performer, from time to time, I do double Forrest Whitaker. And Forrest Whitaker, I've worked on Roots, the new Roots, say the new Roots because they might make another fucking Roots. Black Panther, The Butler, those particular films, I was working alongside Forrest Whitaker. Okay. And Black Panther, the original, was by far one of the biggest. He it was and it was kind of like acting and, well, the whole film industry kind of platform is a really, it's about two different things. It's about nepotism and it's about word of mouth. Okay, because for one, nepotism, like if you had a family member that was an actor, or if your father or your uncle, or your mom, if they were actors, more than likely you'll be an actor too, regardless of whatever. That's why you see people that really can't act, but you see them in a film and you wonder how the hell did they get here. That's how they got there. Most importantly, most of the time they got there because they already had family roots inside the business. And the second one is word of mouth. Okay. And, like when people see you do a good job, they recommend you to someone else. And then that person, if they need you or whatnot, then they'll pick you up, they'll give you a call. And that's what happened between me and Forrest Whitaker, and along with, just being a generally nice person. If you're genuine, you're cool. You know, not an ass, not a prima donna. A lot of people get like that, but needless to say, they're either too big to be ignored, but then again, you can be fired anyway. Look at Megan Fox. You know what I mean? Like people like that were just so horrible, and but then people don't want to work with them. So, um, but I worked on Black Panther with Forrest, and if it wasn't for Roots and me doubling Roots and us having a good relationship, I wouldn't have been called for Black Panther. Because you look at me, do I look like anybody from Wakanda? No. You know what I mean? And especially at that time, I mean, it just, I don't fit the bill as a Wakandan. All right. So when the movie came out, what you guys don't know, if you probably don't know about Black Panther is a comic book and it was invented by Stan Lee. Stan Lee, of course, invented X Men, Spider Man, Captain America, Hulk, Wolverine. These particular guys, he spun the whole Marvel thing back in the early 60s. Well, not even the early 60s, even before that, because Captain America was out before that. Okay. So it was a lot of comic books that came out, and that was like America's pastime because people actually like to read. Well, when Marvel in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, well, half of the 90s sucked. Okay, they sucked. They had stuff like Howard the Duck, if you guys can remember that. Um, It's crazy. But like I think they had a Punisher film in what? I think it was like 1990, which was with Dolph Lundgren, which wasn't bad. It was rated R, but you know, a lot of people it didn't go over well. You know, well, meanwhile on the DC side, DC had Batman, then they had another Batman, then they already had the Supermans from the from the 60s and the 70s, and then of course, Christopher Reeves picked up the role of Superman, and then that stretched through the 80s, right? Then came the Batman. So DC was on top for a long time, for at least 2 decades, probably more than that. Because then you had Batman Forever, then Batman and Robin, then another Batman, then you know what I mean. In the 2000s, then you came with what's his name? Not Christopher Walken, but Christian Bale, right? Then Christian Bale came with that Batman, and you know what I mean. But that's when they had to up the ante, and the reason why is because then Marvel, in the mid '90s, okay, started with Blade. Okay, Blade kicked off the whole Marvel universe, and Wesley Snipes was that guy. He knew martial arts. He was known for Passenger 57. He was known for New Jack City. He was known for White Men Can't Jump. He was known for like a shitload of films back then. Boiling Point. He was an action guy. He was that all around guy that could pretty much do it all. And when he did Blade, the first Blade, him and damn it, what's his name? Can't think of it right now. But who's in that movie? There was somebody else in that movie. The guy from So Fucking What. Anyway, um, it was that set everything off. You know, Christopher Yeah, Christophin. Is it Chris Christophin? Right? No, but who's the antagonist in that? It's an antagonist in that damn show. I can't remember his name. I think the films with Bale were really good. I love the original with Keaton and Nicholson. I love Nicholson. I really well, you know what? Michael Keaton was cool. I like Michael Keaton, and I like the Batman series. Here's the problem: Stephen Dorff. Thank you very much. Jesus Christ, I couldn't think of that right. I just woke up, so I might be babbling a little bit. So forgive me, but that's what I do when I wake up. I kind of unload what I've been on charge, right? So. Um, Blade went really good. It went too damn good. And so by the time Blade 2 came around, which was in the early 2000s, we've already got X-Men was in production, and when X-Men came in with the Holly Berries and and the Jack, what's his name? Jesus, Australian cat. I don't know. Some, because I'm just woke up. But when that came along, you had, you know, X-Man, then Blade, then X-Man, then Blade 2, Hugh Jackman. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Where's Wesley Snipes? Fed still after him? Nah, he's been out, man. He's been out. He's in Coming to America 2. He's in a lot of stuff like as of now. He's really bounced back. He did Jesus, he's been out of jail for a long time. Because he did that movie with Brooklyn's Finest. It was with Richard Gere. It was with Don Cheadle himself, right? Um, Somebody else is in that. Ethan Hawke, yeah, he was in that with them. So he was one of the main cast. So he's good now, but he wasn't always good, But Blade 3 fucked everything up for him, and that's a totally different story. But and I have backs, if you guys want to talk about that, we can. But anyway, what does Snipes have to do with Black Panther? Well, since Snipes was so talented, since he was so, I guess he fit the bill, they wanted him to be Black Panther. So that was going to be the second production. So he was going to be somewhat of who played Captain America, the guy that played Captain America, but you also know he played Cannonball or Fireball in Fantastic Four first, right? So they were going to have him like that, a dual actor with dual characters. Well, Black Panther didn't come into fruition yet. Chris Evans, right? He was going to be like a Chris Evans. Thank you very much. Because I'm seeing faces, but I'm not remembering names. So, because I slept hard, I hate waking up early and going to sleep and waking up. But and a lot of people just think, oh man, you're up all the time. Well, not necessarily. What I do is when I do videos, I might do them all at one time and then I'll time them to release. So when they're releasing, a lot of times I'm asleep or I'm working out or doing something else, So like I will do maybe 4 or 5 today, but you won't see them until tomorrow because I'll be traveling home tomorrow, to my house in another state. So um but they were originally wanted Wesley Snipes. I can picture Errol Spence voicing being used by a comedian from Texas. Yeah, you can. I mean, he's a Texan. First black superhero was Meteor Man in the early '90s. Yeah, Meteor Man. Think about that shit, right? Meteor Man, Blank Man, you know? Hell, Glimmer Man. Remember that? I see two coming to an American 80s snuck in through the fire exit. Oh man, that must have been a treat. Kurt Snipes is in the Expendables too. Right. I forgot about that. They team broke him all out of prison one. Yeah, you know what? I just saw that. I just saw the Expendables 3. I didn't see all of it because I know they had Mel Gibson in it. So I've seen like half of it, and then something happened. I didn't see the whole thing, those type that happened. Um, Snipes and the Expendables. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I want to know if there is any more going on, but that didn't happen. That didn't come into fruition. And then after Blade 3 was a catastrophe. Okay. After that, they put a halt to Blade, and to Panther. And then they came out with an awful television series. So I heard in Blade. Blade is like a miniseries or whatever. They had, I think, Sticky Fingers from Onyx. I'm like, now they have not Idris Elba, but they have Marshala Ali is going to be the next Blade. So, they didn't bring back Wesley, and I don't know if it's going to be a Blade 4 and continue that, or will it just be a new series or a new, movie platform on Blade, whole new installment. He said, I'm still smiling. I don't mean mine being ugly. So, when give you guys a backstory. So when Blade was the shit or whatnot, Wesley was going to play it, but then they needed someone strong. They needed someone that was athletic. And they needed someone very known. By that time, we had Chadwick Boseman. He had did Get On Up with James Brown. He did the Jackie Robinson, the 42 movie. What else do I remember him in since then? I know those two, right? So crazy thing. They casted him as Black Panther in 2016. In 2016, guys, I was just really I just got back into the States, really, because I was living in Brazil most of 2015. And I come back, and the only time I did come back into the States is to work, and That's back when, you guys, a lot of you guys wasn't around. Some of you still were, actually, which, I'm grateful for each and every one of you. Um, and Yeah, New Jack City was dope. It's good. It was a good movie. Very good movie. A lot of talent in New Jack City. A lot of people don't know and understand. Judd Nelson, Russell Wong, Ice T. A lot of people were in that. That you see to this day. Chris Rock, right? You know what I mean? Chris Rock was the crackhead that smoked rocks. Chris Rock. Yeah, it was a lot. But I had a channel by that time, not very long, maybe a year, and I really didn't put a lot of content on Counterpunch Boxing News at the time. But I did, post something here and there, about welterweights, because see, even back then, heavyweight, the heavyweight division really wasn't booming. It just wasn't. Like 16, you did have Wilder. Joshua, I think, was just coming on the scene, and I was like, okay, because the first time I seen Anthony Joshua was when he knocked out Charles Martin. That's the first time I seen him. Now I heard of him making his getting his golden Olympic gold medal. I did hear of him doing that, which was very impressive. Because I remember seeing him with Lennox Lewis, I think, and of course, they were both British. So since they were both British, he hung around them, but his intention was to sign Anthony Joshua. So Anthony Joshua decided to go with Eddie Hearn. I guess that all went up in smoke. But I do remember him from the Olympics, because I remember this tall kid, tall, lanky kid. I'm like, damn, he's tall, and that was Anthony Joshua. Well, the next time I seen him, he was knocking out Charles Martin. Okay, so uh, then I was like, okay, what's with this guy? I mean, he just took this guy in 2 rounds. What's up with him? Had a crazy record too. You know what I mean? So you had guys like Wilder, then you had Anthony Joshua and stuff like that. So just giving you guys a timestamp on what was going on in the sport of boxing, based on what was happening with me. Well, with at that time, I just had a close uncle that passed. He was killed in a car accident, and that was one of my mom's baby brothers. Right, my mom had a lot of brothers, and my mom was deceased at that time. So I came back to the States. Things wasn't really working right in Brazil anymore. You know what I mean? And so I broke off an engagement at that time, and so I came back, and my career, that was probably the worst year I had. As far as film goes, filming, and I didn't get a lot of calls. I did a few films, a few acting jobs, you know, and it was like, they were far few in between. And I had CDLs at that time, and I had just newly got them, and I wanted to become a teamster. Like, okay, I need money because I was still dating someone that that had kids of her own, and I wanted to with her. So, you get a ready-made family, right? That's what you expect. So, I started thinking of the idea of truck driving. I want to be a truck driver, and so when I was in school, I got talked into becoming a truck driver by like the school Diesel Truck Driving Academy. When you can drive a truck, you got a job, my friend. But when? Bars, because that required a lot. And the recruiters, the recruiting side of a trucking company is crazy. You know what I mean? It's like they want to hire you, but they don't. But a lot of stuff they don't tell you. Yeah, yeah. Come on over here to Warner, or come on over here to what's the other ones? Warner, Schmidt, um, TMC, Maverick. I ended up going to Maverick, and I kept pushing it back because I would get another film. So I'd get another film, and I'm like, hey, I can return. Can I get that start date a month away, and then I'll do the film, and then I would be ready. Okay, I want to do this now. Then I'd get another film. I might have did maybe 3 films, and maybe 4. I think I did 4 films in 2016, and my residuals at the time from 15, I think they were kind of rolling in from the year before, because that's how it really works. The work you done the year before, based on the residuals pretty much they help you along the way. You know what I mean? That's how people are able to. You see actors, or not really stunt performers, because you really don't see stunt performers, but actors just how they just fall off. Then a lot of times they've probably made too much damn money, and then they probably get themselves in trouble, or in a place in their life, like addiction to something. They get on coke, or they get on something other shit like that. So um but they're able to do that because they're not working, because those checks that are coming in are from checks that they have invested in from residuals. Okay. So I was like, you know what? Well, I'm going to start truck driving, and, I'm going to try that. Maybe that may help me. And yeah, I tried it, and it just wasn't for me. Right. And um, 16 started to roll around. And when I got out of the business of trucking, I did land this bigger job where I doubled a guy in Savannah, Georgia. Well, the problem was I didn't get paid for it. No one got. They went over budget. They need. I think it was a $5 million film, and they probably needed 10. And I flew out to Savannah, Georgia, and when I flew out there, I was happy. I had this work, so I'm like, I'm expected to get about 7, 8 grand back. That was around the amount of money, and I never got it. And then by that time I quit. I quit 2 jobs for, well, 1 job for that, because I was always working a part-time or something. And at the time, so they didn't pay me, and Black Panther started. Now, my whole thing in Black Panther, I remembered it from Wesley Snipes, and I'm a Marvel guy. I'm not really a DC guy. I'm a Marvel guy anyway. And we seen it, and it was this huge film, $300 million budget, Black Panther movie, and I'm like, how in Hades am I gonna get on that? And all I knew was what I've done with Forrest in 2015. 2015, I knew I doubled him, in Roots. So uh, I met some guys, took a flight, got to Atlanta, and met people that's actually working on it, and they were stuntmen. One guy doubled Chadwick Boseman, and the other guy, he doubled Michael B. Jordan. So I met these 2 cats, both from Africa. These guys, one from Morocco and the other one from Cameroon, I believe, or Ghana. But anyway, Kofi doubled Chadwick Boseman, super nice guy. Then you had Khalid. Khalid doubled Michael B. Jordan, which he still doubles Michael B. Jordan. That's pretty much his thing, and they knew that I doubled Forrest Whitaker before. So they were like, okay, listen, give us some time, and we'll pitch you. We'll let the coordinator know, okay, that you want to get on, and those things. And then the coordinator, what he does, he goes and he asks, the assistant to Forrest Whitaker, like, hey, do you remember this guy, Kurt DeField, that doubled for you in this show? And then that's what happened. And we're like, sure, yeah, I remember him. Really got, because we really, we really bonded, I feel, and I knew what type of person he was. You know what I mean? He was real. I don't know what other people's, and I have no responsibility for other people's experiences with other people. So if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, you know what? I hear Forrest Whitaker's a real dick." Well, I know him in another light, so I can't co-sign on that. Neither will I hold a conversation with you. I'm not going to get in a fist fight with you, but I'm not going to sit there and, I'm not that type of person. So, real cool guy. We hit it off, and they called me. Now, here's the thing about Black Panther. What people don't know, okay? Black Panther was the director was Ryan Coogler. He was a young black director, and he had a lot of stress because a lot of people expected him to fail. A lot of people thought that was going to be a shit show, and I don't know why. You know what I mean? I can imagine, right? But um, they called me. Okay, young lady calls me. When they called me, I didn't get a call. And you know why I didn't get a call? It was crazy. And this is the scary part about the business. This lady named Kelly, she gave me a call. And I didn't get it. Instead, I got a voicemail. Now, get this. I didn't get the call because of another call, which was a fucking spam call. I want you guys to listen to me. A fucking spam call comes in my phone at the same time she tries to call me. Okay. And then what happens is normally if you guys don't know and you try to call somebody and then it go in and you hit the voicemail and you either think they blocked you or they're busy. Well, what could have happened is another call could have came in at the same time and you guys could have just crashed and both calls dropped. But Kelly left a voicemail. So I seen a voicemail and I was like, okay, huh. So I checked the voicemail and she was like, oh, this is Kelly. I heard you work with Forrest. I'm one of the stunt coordinators for Black Panther. We would love to bring you along. You know what I mean? And, I was like, yeah, right. So I call back and she didn't answer. And this is the type of shit you deal with. She didn't answer, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, did I miss it? You left me a voice message to call you back, but I missed it because of some fucking call that comes in, you know. And I know it was a spam call because the call I answered and they're like, hello, I would like to blip. So I'm like, fuck. Then I look down and see the voicemail icon, right? Now, just imagine for just a second, imagine for a second, if I decided to not clear my damn voicemails, I would have never knew she called. She could have just called, oh, it's busy. Let's check the next guy. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that could have happened. Because if the voicemail was full, how many times you call somebody in a voicemail? Okay, hey, so-and-so's voicemail, is not working or full right now. And you can no longer leave messages. Please try again. Whatever, right? That could have happened. That's why I believe, and I'm a firm believer in certain things are meant to happen. They're meant to happen. Whitaker was great in Platoon. Yeah, I remember that, man. He was a kid too. Him. Um, Lawrence Fishburne was actually in Apocalypse Now. He wasn't in Platoon. He was in Apocalypse Now. Um, so I went out to this show. They were mad strict. Okay, mad strict. And I was at a studios called OSA Studios in Atlanta. Big, huge studio. One of many places they filmed. Atlanta was like, one of the hubs. That, Korea, I think some parts of Africa, California, a lot of places. And I got there. You had to check in every day. You had to call. You had to get in, and they take your license and all that stuff. You can't bring your cell phone. It was very, very strict. If someone caught you, because this is a Marvel show, and it was a big Marvel show, and they're all about confidentiality. So if you're around there like a Japanese tourist, you will be fired. And I haven't seen a stunt guy get fired. But trust me, you will be fired if you were an extra and in fact, we didn't even have extras. We had the main cast, we had the doubles, and then we had what you call the stand-ins. Okay. And the stand-ins were the people that just stand on the mark, to allow production and the film crew to check out certain angle blockings and movements on the duration of where the actor goes during the scene. You know what I mean? That's what blocking is. Okay. So that's what you had. And even though the stand-ins had to shave their head, I mean, chicks, long fucking hair, they were like, "You need to shave your head." So everybody was around there bald, except for Kofi, because Kofi's characters, Chadwick Boseman, and Chadwick had hair, so he had hair. Everybody else was bald, and Khalid was already bald, so he wasn't caring anyway. But super cool people. And it was almost like you were in a society on a film that, like, yeah, I felt welcome. Because when I got there, regardless of who you see, okay, you're always taught to, hey, just be professional, don't get too giddy. Or if you just like, let's say you see The Rock, or you see like a big, Mark Wahlberg, or whoever you think that's big. Rock is big. He's probably one of the biggest guys now. But let's see that, you see that. You can't, like, hey, let me get a picture with you. Some people still do it. Not saying they don't go through with it. They just, it is what it is. I would have thought that your name would have been on a movie stuntman register for a recommendation. Nah, Anthony. They have those, but even those are, needless to say, Anthony, they're kind of shitty, because a lot of times what coordinators do, they want you to pay a certain amount of money to be on a list. I'm not doing that shit. You know what I mean? I'm not doing that, because a lot of guys have tried to get a lot of stunt people together, and then they're like, hey, yeah, for like $100 or $200, $150, you can be on this list or whatever. And then I think it's like a subscription based shit like the Zone. I'm like, no, dude, no, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm. But yeah, you're not, because see, you are you walk around with your resume. A lot of people don't even have paper resumes. You just shoot it. You shoot it. You shoot an email to a guy. You know what I mean? You do that all the time. So when I don't make videos and films, I'm either auditioning or I'm sending off my resume to other coordinators for possible work. That's what I'm doing. And since COVID, not a lot of people don't do what we call hustles anymore. And when you hustle in the film industry, that means you go there. You know, and some sets are closed. Sometimes you can't go on that set because it's at a studio. And if you're not invited, you ain't getting in. Okay. If I see The Rock, he getting dapped up, that's my boy in my head. No, I mean, he's not a bad guy like that. He ain't bad like that. Like he's one of those people. He's not a J Lo. Okay. You can't do that to J Lo. King Mike Hall. If you came here, here's the deal. Ed Kurt didn't know you were a stunt man. Yeah, been a stunt man for 11 years, 12 years. Yeah. Yeah. No, 11 years. 11 years I've been a stunt performer. So anyway, back to you, King Mike Hall. If you walked to J Lo and you looked her in her eyes as she was coming to set, and that motherfucker looked over and seeing you looking at her, she would get you fired. Now it depends, because it's all about the hierarchy and where you are on the totem pole. Now, if you were let's say you were a stand-in, you're fired. an extra. You're super fired. You might get blacklisted. Because they might not even call you because what they'll do, they'll go to the what do they call those agencies? Because they have what you call extra agencies that hire extras for films. They'll go to them and tell them why they fired you. And you don't want that because what they'll do, they'll go to them and tell them, like, yeah, look, that particular guy, don't recommend him here because we're not going to hire him. You know what I mean? That type of shit. It's bad. But the good thing about that is when a movie's over, it's over. So unless it was a television show that lasted for season after season after season, you're good. Because once a film's over, it's over. Then you're unemployed, then you're sitting around looking like what the fuck happened. I was with these, hanging out with the elite, Lupita Nyong'o and Michael B. Jordan and Chadwick Boseman and all these big names and shit. Then all of a sudden, you're back home. That's the crazy thing about the whole thing. Now, ain't nobody walking up on waiting for tonight. I know, right? Yeah, I mean, J Lo, I'm biased because I just don't like her. I don't like J Lo at all. So she can, you know, I don't care for her at all. What the hell is this? So, but anyway, so I got there, I'm on set, I'm all ripped up, you know what I mean? And they gotta come to slick that head. They gotta slick me. So I'm like, cool, you know what I mean? And you guys knew it's getting fucking bald anyway. So I was like, shit, it looked like Ness from the boxing voice in this piece. But they slicked me, man, and then Michael B. Jordan comes walking in. He comes in talking, hey man, yeah, 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 yeah. And so we're in the trailer. So, I'm here. Then he's like right next door. Then you probably have Lupita Nyong'o over here. Then, you have maybe Forrest Whitaker probably in another trailer. I mean, because you have to understand, like, this is a big show. So you got more than one hair and makeup trailer. You know what I mean? You have several where other people are at because they had so many people that they had to get ready. Okay. And I'm sitting there doing my thing, just professional, chilling. And then Michael B. Jordan was like, "Hey man, what's up, man?" And I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" "Oh man, good man. I'm Mike. How you doing?" I'm Kurt. And we got to talking because I told him a story about one of my best friends. She thought she wanted to hook up with him. He was like, "Man, let me see your IG." So I saw the IG. We started talking and stuff, and he asked me, and then we started talking to some other personal stuff, and then he was like, "Man, I always wanted to go to Brazil." I'm like, "Dude, I used to live in Brazil. What's up?" And he was like, "Man, I would like to go." And then it's like Mike Mike was the opposite of Chadwick Boseman because Chadwick Boseman is kind of a guy that he's a method actor, so he's in character most of the time. Most of the time. Where Michael B knows how to turn it on, turn it off. Chadwick Boseman was just like, even when in between sets, he was just like, "Where do you want me to be? Do you want me to be and this? Do you want me to stand front and center, or do you like me more relaxed? Should I be off camera?" So like a lot of like he's already practicing that character. A lot of people do it. Method acting. And Chadwick was quiet at first. At first, okay, and we were working on this fight scene, and the fight scene was when, um, well, one of many, but I started the fight scene. Let the games begin, and I had this unk, and I swirl it around in the water. And what a lot of people don't know about stunt doubles do a lot of shit that you don't think stunt doubles do. And I don't mean like, yeah, you got to do all the action stuff. Well, yes, you do all the action stuff, but you also do the verbal stuff. So, for example, backstory in Roots, I was doing distance shots, maybe distance shots, but no, these were mostly rehearsals. So they use you for rehearsals. They, when like Forrest was in his trailer doing whatever the hell they were doing with Forrest, they were like, hey, you have to be with Malachi Kirby and you have to read these lines. And I was like, okay, I'm an actor too. I read lines. And then here's the thing, I'm reading these lines, you know, it was like, I know where the cue was. You know what I mean? I knew when to stop, when to start. I knew everything. And we fed off each other's energy, right? And Malachi played Kunta Kinte, and then he was like he just had his child, and that's what the scene was about. And we were walking with that, and I was just like, and by the second or third, I already knew the lines. So after that rehearsal, people were like, okay, I know you're the stunt double, but what the fuck? Why did you knew how to do these things? And I was like, yeah, well, I'm an actor too. I was like, dude, that's fucking good. You nailed that. I'm like, yeah, thanks. That's not my job, but I appreciate it. But then it is, because you are there to assist, and it's more than just action shit. Even if someone does something themselves, you have to make sure they know how to do it. So you're also the person that makes sure the actor don't get hurt, or the person that makes sure that the actor, if he's doing that himself physically, can do it the right way. If he can't do it the right way, you're not doing your job as a stunt double. Because if that's the case, you might as well do it for him. You know what I mean? Because a lot of stuff you look and you're like, okay, that shit ain't right. Then you're like, hey man, but you have to be careful too, because you also have your boss, which is a stunt coordinator, and then that boss has his boss is the director, and then the boss is the producer. So like, let's say the producer liked the whole thing. Well, I guess you got to move on and check the gate of the film take that you took of that, of that scene that you shot. So anyway, um, here I am in Black Panther doing this shit. Let the games begin, and I'm twirling this thing, and you see this massive fight, which was great. You had Kofi, then you had Kofi Khalid, then Chadwick, then Michael B. Then Kofi Khalid, then Chadwick and Michael B. Then Kofi. That's how it was. They did each one. So the doubles did it, and they did this fight scene, fall down and get, they do this, they do this, they do this. And they did that for like 5-6 hours. Okay. Then they brought in the actors, so they switched out. And it was crazy because, it was just me and Forrest. And the crazy thing is, me and Forrest took a picture. Now, normally I didn't take the picture. Forrest took the picture. And his assistant never sent me the pictures, which pissed me off at that point, because it really don't bother me because I'll see him again. But then like with Chadwick Boseman, nobody knew at that time that he was sick. Okay. And then that was the crazy thing. And I'm gonna dive into that here in a second. But Michael B was like, he, like, after every take, it was like, yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, let's do it again. And then we'll do the thing again. And it's like we're getting hyped to do the next scene and the next scene and the next scene. T'Challa should have been recast. That character has more stories to tell and is too important for the culture. Well, here's the thing. This is what, well, if you, okay, I want to hear yes or why or in. How many people have seen Wakanda Forever? Because I'm not going to start talking about Wakanda Forever until I know how many people seen it. Because if you haven't seen it and you're like me and you're anything like me, I do not want anyone to tell me anything about that. Hot Video says yes. Kurt, have you reacted to Slide blowing smoke up Tyson Fury's, saying he's the best heavyweight of all time? No, but I have to read what he had to say about it. Andrew says no. Anthony Evelyn says no, I haven't. Okay, so I won't talk about that because I mean I'm not getting the responses you know that I need. You guys are not responding. So see, no, there's another no. So that's three no's out of four replies. Will though for sure. Okay. Ed says yes. Andrew says yes. Okay. Who else? So anyway, that's like 50-50, right? Wakanda forever, my brother. Hey, Andrew Smith, Wakanda forever. Listen, um, Chadwick Boseman was a very, very talented guy. Very talented. No spoilers. JR, I won't. I won't. Because I could have answered a question that someone asked, but I'm not because I'm not going to do that. We'll do another one or whatever when more people seen it. Maybe in a month when everyone hopefully has seen it because the shit's doing really well. People are watching that shit everywhere. And I will tell you this. I will tell you this about Wakanda Forever. That shit, like I was there, my girl was there, and my kid was there. To this day, she was there. So I was like, because it was scenes in it that like you knew what it meant, and it was just kind of like it was some real emotional shit, like to the point. I mean, they did a good job of farewell. I'll say that. And it was almost, I know if I was by myself, I would be sweating out the eyes. As a kid, I used to say pissing out the eyes, but sweating out the eyes, I think, I would because it was just like even when I seen the first trailer of Wakanda Forever, it's like I know what that meant to me. I know that film. Okay, a lot of people don't know what that film did to me and for me. Um, that film itself took me away from part-time jobs like Domino's, working at Hilton, working at other delivery services and stuff like that. Because those are the jobs that I had. Those particular uh, jobs I didn't have to do no more. I didn't have to do them no more after Black Panther. After Black Panther, that was it. Because before that, I did Jeepers Creepers 3, and I did 6 weeks on that, which sucked, by the way. But I needed it. And that was a total movie that, had I knew the particulars about it, I never would have. I never would have even agreed to do it. Okay, for a lot of reasons. But I needed the money because I doubled a guy named Stan Shaw in that film, and he was nothing like any other guy. Stan Shaw, if you guys don't know who he is, he's like the dude from Harlem Nights, the boxer that stuttered. So the stuttering boxer on not Rage in Harlem, but Harlem Nights. I get those mixed up. That's who I doubled. Okay, his name is Stan Shaw. Not a lot of people don't know him. Okay, he's not fucking known, but in his mind, he's like, I studied from Cambridge. No, you didn't, motherfucker. You know what I mean? And then, I mean, he wasn't horrible, but he was rather not what you would expect like an actor to do when they're, that like a shitty actor. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know him from way back. Yeah, yeah. He's, he was like Richard Pryor's best friend, shit like that. And he's been dead since 2006. Richard has, a long time now. So, but no. Besides that, I mean, I still had to work. But when Black Panther called me, I no longer had to do that. So I'm really thankful for getting that opportunity. And it's so crazy what you don't know at the time. And this is what I'm going to talk to you guys about Chadwick. Chadwick Boseman didn't tell anybody. He didn't appear. If that quietness that I observed earlier when I first met him, if that was a part of what the fuck was going on with him with, with stage 4 cancer, he held it together very well, and it makes me understand what strength really is. Because a lot of people, can't wait to tell you about their fucking problems. A lot of people can't wait to lay it on you, to use you as a fucking trash can, to tell you what happened to me today. A lot of people can't, they can't handle it. They want to unload on you and rain on you with their problems. Nobody knew. I mean, I repeat, nobody knew that was going on with Chadwick. We call him Chad. Nobody knew that. And it just shows you, he was able to do these films, and he probably did 5, 6 more after that, if not more, because you had 21 Bridges, you had The Five Bloods, which was his last movie he ever done. Um, you had what else? What else? I had a shitload of movies, man. I can't remember them right now. Um, damn. 21 Bridges. Did he had I am Message from the King, The Five Bloods. He had a lot of movies, bro. After Black Panther, apparently only close family and friends knew. Yeah, King Mike Hall. Nobody else knew. Nobody else knew that. Kurt Malibu's Most Wanted when Anthony Anderson was pretending to be a gangster still night. Malik Moncrief, that boy Kurt. From what I heard, it was done very well. So, yeah, I mean, but he was still cool, still laughing. And one thing, like Chad was like, how they have like the Africans paint and stuff like that. Well, they were painting them up, right? We're just kind of sitting around, and like he was here, and then I was over here. You had Michael B. Jordan. We all just kind of chilling. I stand up, and like Chadwick's like getting fucking, he's getting painted all over. You know what I mean? James Brown was before. That was back in 13. You know what I mean? Yeah, that it came out in 13. And they found out he had stage 3 then, bro. Right before that movie. So that had to be in 2012. That was 10 years ago. He died in 2020, 2 years ago. So for 8 fucking years, he had that type of cancer and didn't really know it. He didn't know he had colon cancer, or stage 3 colon cancer until that. I think it was either before that movie started in production or after. He had stage 3 then. Yes, 21 Bridges was very good. Very good. But anyway, he goes and they're slapping this shit on him, and you can tell it's like, dude, this shit's like, and those makeup artists, they got to do it fast and stuff like that. That was his last movie, The Five Bloods, King Mike. Oh, and he looks at me and shit, and he's like, he was like, this the shit. This the shit they don't tell you about. This the shit they don't tell you about. And he had this like crazy laugh. You know what I mean? And like that's like, dude, like, yeah, you're from yeah, you're from South Carolina. Because like a lot of people, it's any people from the South, they got crazy fucking laughs. And it's just like, yeah, this is the type of shit they don't tell you about right here. And it was the funniest shit. And exactly, because it's like the type of laugh he had was the type of laugh. It really wasn't just hilarious what he was saying. It was like the fucking laugh. Like you said, it's infectious. You'll start laughing because of hearing him laugh. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking about how he laughs, you know what I mean? And it was like, it's crazy. You just can't, you can't help but to laugh with it, right? So that was crazy. That was some crazy stuff, man. But yeah, he was real cool, real professional, real talented, and I know he was reserved for the most part, but Michael B was that guy. He was that guy, in the whole thing. And Michael B. Jordan, he kind of took everybody for a blow. Nobody knew that though. Nobody knew that because again, he was cut up. He was in shape. He wasn't small or skinny or frail or anything like that. It even appeared sickly, and then Kofi was like, Kofi's stacked. Like Kofi's, jacked, and like Kofi's damn near 50 years old. Okay. But um they were the same. They were, yeah, they're the same height. They were the same height. Kofi was a little darker, because Chadwick's a little more of a dark brown, if that, brown skinned brother, and Kofi was dark brown. So, you know, it was a good double. He was still a good double, but then it was like, you could tell Chadwick had thicker calves and stuff like that. So he was still athletic. He hadn't lost his size or anything like that. And nobody knew. And then the crazy thing, and then this is when I started feeling bad. I started feeling bad for what my thoughts were, because you guys know Chadwick Boseman was a diehard fucking boxing fan. He was at every fight imaginable. Okay, I don't know if you guys know that. Like Chadwick was like that boxing guy. He was at every fight. Okay, and we talked about boxing. You know what I mean? And he was a real fan of Sugar Shane Mosley. Um, he liked Floyd Mayweather, because he was at all those fights. He had to check fucking Jamal Charlo, not Jamal, Jermell Charlo, because Jermell was like that. Yeah, yeah. And Chad was like, dude, don't, because he was all over his face. Yeah, with Crawford. Yeah, he's a big Crawford fan. You know what I mean? So, Chadwick, he knew boxing, he respected it, and then like and it was crazy. Yeah, yeah, Anthony. Yeah, man. Look, Chadwick Boseman was a diehard boxing fan, bro. He was at, I'm gonna tell you, he was at most of those fights. Most of the fights. I mean, when Black Panther came out, it was Wakanda Forever. It was Wakanda. I don't even know if it was Wakanda Forever. I think Forever just came in the second, but Wakanda, what I mean? So no, this is Wakanda, Black Panther. Right? And I don't know if I have it right now. Uh but everybody got like a production shirt. I got one for me and my daughter. And I don't know what the hell she did with it, but Panther. Um, but no, man, it was great because I seen the premiere. I seen the premiere of Black Panther a year later. Okay, and but back to Chad though. He I start seeing him and he started looking real small, and I was like, damn. And the first thing I thought of was, damn man, what he been smoking, you know. I saw him in a few fights. Not didn't know he was a huge fan. Yeah, man. Um, but it was crazy because the whole thing is. Then I felt bad when I found out, man, he was, he's sick, and it was weird. A couple years ago, I had an ex girlfriend that called me, and she calls and she's like, "Hey, Kurt, just calling you, just to let you know I'm sorry." I'm like, "What the hell you sorry for? What are you sorry about?" She says, "Oh well, you didn't hear, Chadwick Boseman died today." What the fuck? What? She's like, "Yeah, and he had he was sick with cancer." And I was like, "Damn, that's you know." Because I remember telling her that, like all the times we had on set, and everybody was cool. It was a very cordial, gelling camaraderie between us working together. And now those memories, you look at them a lot different. You know, you look at those memories a lot different when it comes to um, Black Panther. Because I mean, you know, he was young, bro. He was like 42 years old when he passed. And you look at it and you're like, well, damn. And it just lets you know you never know. You never know when people are going to leave. Um, take nothing for granted, you know, because I mean, he was on top of the world. You guys do know that uh, uh, Denzel paid for his schooling. Yeah. Kurt, when is the prediction for Davis versus Garcia gonna drop? When it gets closer, you know, they have another fight. I won't do the prediction until probably next year when we know that fight's happening. Yeah, we've heard it, you know, oh, it's been announced. Yeah, okay. I think we'll wait then. I think we'll wait then. I could do it, but I won't drop it. How about that? Yeah, Anthony, it did shock me too. I mean, I didn't know. I thought he was on some powerful shit. Kurt, I find it strange that Chad said that he's dead in two movies in an interview before he actually died. Because he knew he was gonna, he knew he wasn't going to make it more than likely, and I think the parts that he took reflected those type of things happening because it was going to actually happen. Ryan's gonna blast Davis. Bro, did you see Montana Love Royal Rumble buddy out of the ring? Nah, I didn't. I didn't see it, man. I didn't see it. Um, that's why I appreciate you guys hitting me up on Instagram. Let me know what's going on a lot of times because you know a lot of times I don't know unless I'm researching for a particular project or some content that I want to get out. But like up and coming news, don't hesitate, man. You could send me a message or whatever. Even if we're not friends, I'll still get the message request. And a lot of times I've got those requests and then accepted the friendship. You know what I mean? Just let me know who you are. Like, yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, if you got like a link, or something you want me to check out and make a video on, I'm down. You know what I mean? Amazing stories about Chad. He was a great actor, and now we know he was a real great person because of you. Well, yeah, like that guy. He didn't have any kids, to my knowledge, right? And but it really wasn't like any of them like that made me starstruck. I don't remember being starstruck um at all except when I seen Angela Bassett. When I seen Angela Bassett, I just kind of felt not even Lupita Nyong'o, and then she was fine, and I mean she's super fine in Wakanda Forever. I mean, what? Yeah, she's gorgeous, but no. When I saw Tina Turner, aka Tina Turner, yeah, I got giddy, and I was like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, Angela Bassett, when I saw her, because it was crazy, because she did like we do multiple scenes again and again and again. And it was a scene where Angela Bassett has in her contract she doesn't get naked for anything, but if she has a donk bigger than J Lo's, but this one's actually real. If you guys didn't know, Angela Bassett, dude, is stacked. No disrespect, Courtney B. Vance or Courtney C. Vance, right? That's her husband. But I mean, she's fine and voluptuous. You know what I mean? And she, of course, this was 5 years ago, right? Yeah. So 5, 6 years ago, right? So What's your IG, Kirk? It's Deville Kirk. Yeah. Scott is saying only Fury is a threat to Wilder. Young, your opinion? It just tells me that he wants that fight again. He wants to go again. And here's my counterpunch on that. Malik Scott falling into the same shit that Deontay Wilder fell into is a trap because, see, um, those guys, I know what they're doing. I think they're secretly making money for themselves. I think they want to build themselves up by using themselves to fight themselves, you know, because I believe that Wilder, as he knows, he'll make more money fighting Joshua. But why aren't those fights happening? Why didn't those fights happen? Well, they didn't happen before because Wilder didn't get beat yet. He got a draw against Tyson Fury. And his whole thing was let me and Tyson freeze out Joshua. Needless to say, Joshua didn't mention freezing out, Wilder, like he keeps talking shit, we'll freeze him out, right? That, you know what I mean? And I believe that um, Tyson Fury is a guy that knows. That's why he talks up Wilder so much, because Wilder is a guy that he only beat. He has 3 blemishes on his record, 1 draw and 2 losses, and they all came from Tyson Fury. They share the draw, and Tyson Fury beat him the other 2 fights. Well, Tyson's trying to make it, and what he's doing and what Wilder doesn't understand, that Fury's trying to freeze out any other person that can do the same thing. So what happens if, like, Wilder fights Joshua and Joshua beats Wilder? If Joshua beat Wilder, then he doesn't have anything to stand on at that point, because they both beat Vlad, they both beat Dillian White, now they both beat Deontay Wilder. Well, that would make Tyson Fury's legacy not that much manageable. Okay, it doesn't stick out at all anymore. So we have to look at that for what it is. Wilder probably made more money fighting Fury than the rest of his career combined. I know he did. That man didn't. No. Fury is holding up Wilder because that's the only claim to fame. Absolutely. Just explained. Only claim to fame. Bars. But back to Black Panther. Yeah, man, it was watching watching the Queen walk. Angela Bassett, like, run, because she's running. You're like, oh man, this chick is gorgeous. Look at this woman here. If Ruiz batters Wilder, it will devalue Fury fans. Yeah, it will devour anybody's fans, because, see, yeah, Fury's fans and Fury himself, now he has to fight Ruiz because now Ruiz has did something that only he could have done, which I think is bullshit. Even though I think Wilder would get Ruiz because of the naturalness of the fight, the styles of those guys fight, how they naturally get it on. Eduardo Lorente. Hey, Kurt, big fan here from Miami. I think that Usyk smokes Fury, and that's why Tyson is ducking him. Am I like crazy? Well, he can try, Eduardo, but at the end of the day, see, Usyk's not worried about that fucking IBF belt because he knows what he can gain against Tyson. See, here's the thing. If Usyk beats Fury, who cares about the IBF belt? Because what's going to happen is Usyk is going to be somewhat like Vasyl Lomachenko was at 135. Remember that he was like that guy anyway. He was revered as the undisputed champion because he was elevated from the WBC to the franchise, and then the WBC went to Devin Haney, right? So that's what he's going to be. The IBF, okay, you're not going to fight us, we're going to strip you, but then you didn't get beat for it. That means it just came to somebody else. So then if Usyk goes and does the unimaginable, right? It's imaginable, but unimaginable, to beat Tyson Fury, then Tyson Fury won't be, he won't have a belt. And then Usyk will have the WBC, the WBA, the WBO, the IBO, and the Ring Magazine. Do you think he gives a shit about the IBF? No. He wouldn't care about that. You think anybody else would? No, he just beat Fury. Fury's the best fighter in the world. Oh, no, he ain't, because he just got beat by Usyk. Usyk beat Joshua. Usyk beat Fury. Then what could Usyk do? You think he could go after Hrgovic? He could if he wanted that last belt just for bragging rights, right? But he didn't have to do that at all, because people will look at Hrgovic and say, yeah, you're the IBF champion, but when are you going to fight Usyk? And Usyk, gave that belt up because he sacrificed that belt to get that belt from the WBC. So the WBC belt now belongs to Usyk. He now owns it from from Wilder, then Fury, now Usyk. You know what I mean? And really, what warrants him fighting a Hrgovic anyhow? Beat another Eddie Hearn fighter? I mean, let's just be real. I mean, look, because there's other bigger fights to be made. He could fight Joshua a third time just to get the money. He could fight Deontay Wilder just because that's the last head of that three-headed dragon. So, dude, no, man, at the end of the day, I don't think Fury has too many places to go. So I don't think he'll be ducking at all. He just needs to make his mind up if he's going to fight Usyk or not. Because Usyk's not fazed by that IBF thing. And I thought that was going to be the case, but it ain't. That ain't the case, bro. Oh, no. Joyce devalued AJ's resume. Kind of. I mean, Joseph Parker, he's been beaten by Dillian White. But really, Dillian White did the same thing Joshua did. Dillian White actually did a better job. The only difference is Dillian White hit the canvas too. Kurt, I hope Roy Jones is going to make Joshua shred down to 230. Well, we'll see what the game plan is. We'll see what the game plan is, but me too. All those dang muscles ain't helping. No, it ain't. He just wants to be sexy for whatever fucking reason. I'm too sexy for my cat. AJ and Parker was a bore fest. Man, it sucked, didn't it? Man, I remember I was here in Austin, and I seen that film at Twin Peaks. It's a bar, where chicks kind of like Hooters. And it was like I'm waiting for this fight to be over, because Parker didn't really come to fight. Let's just be real. He didn't come to fight. And then his idea of fighting wasn't even really allowed anyway, because the referee was a dipshit. He was an over-controlling, over-officiating dipshit. That's what he was. So I'm sitting there watching this show, and I'm watching it, and all I could think about was, damn, that same place I saw Ortiz battle and challenge Wilder to a much more exciting fight. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. Wow, he should have took Kenny Porter. Yeah, he could have. And I actually got to call Kenny. The ref ruined AJ versus Parker. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't allowed to do shit. But then, it was like, nah, dude. I mean, he fought Joshua like he fought Andy Ruiz. Just kind of, and Andy Ruiz was a shorter guy, and he couldn't really get off his punches. That's why anybody with a good boxing IQ can beat Andy Ruiz. Just stay away from him. Just like Joshua did the second fight. He didn't engage. And you could tell he wanted to. And even when he did, he wasn't the bigger, better fighter. And he was afraid that he would get hurt with those punches. He didn't want to get hit in that same place again. So, yeah. I think it's pretty much over for AJ now. Nah. I think that's what you hope it's over. You hope it's over for AJ, because you've never been an AJ fan. I know you. I know what your comments were before and after that fight. So yeah, you hope it's over. That's one thing about what I stopped doing. Okay. I stopped hoping for people's downfall. If you get it, you're going to get it. It's not going to be because I will it or that I want it. It's not going to be that way. Now, I might predict something. I think that may happen, but it ain't because I wish that would happen. Now, not to say I don't have my picks and chooses, because I'm an underdog guy anyway. I wanted Ugas to beat Errol Spence, but everybody knows Ugas is Cuban, so I support Cuban fighters. There's no, everybody knows that. That's why I love Ortiz, Frank Sanchez. I talk to him a lot. So make no mistake about it. I'm not a person that's sitting here that said I don't have favorites and I don't have people that I support and want to see. You know what I mean? But I will tell you that whatever happens, happens. But I'm realistic about it. The idea of like Frank beating someone like Joe Joyce, it could happen, but that's a dangerous fight for him. You know what I mean? AJ just needs to stay clear of Usyk and Fury. Well, I'm pretty sure Eddie's going to keep him clear of all those guys now. I think that's the case. I'm looking forward to AJ's comeback. It better not be a Washington level opponent. I hope it ain't either. That would suck because you don't never know what's up those guys' sleeve. You see that shit almost backfired for Andy Ruiz. He went in there with Chris Arreola thinking that was going to be an easy peasy. Let me show him my fast hands and my newfound waist. Imagine if Andy won a fight with a knee injury. I can come into this fight. I train hard. I got the job done even though I had a bad knee. Yeah. He needs to stay clear of Fury and Usyk. Then what's the point? You're basically admitting it's over for him. Well, Usyk and Fury need to fight each other. Fuck the noise. I just want everyone to fight everyone. Win, lose, or draw. Me too. What happened to AJ fights everyone narrative? Well, I mean, I guess you're talking to one person because shit, there's nobody really left except for because he fought Usyk, Deontay Wilder, and Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder for AJ is the only people that he hasn't fought pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I was a fan of AJ. I was favoring AJ at first. What happened to I want to see AJ fight Joyce next. That would be good. I mean, and then who would, and those guys are all at the top. God of War in the building. Usyk schools Hrgovic. Of course he does. He like Hrgovic, he's fast. He throws good combinations, but shit. So did Andy Ruiz against Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker still outboxed him though. Because he knew how to fight someone like Ruiz. Just like Usyk knows how to fight someone like Hrgovic. Look, he's about the same height as Joe Joyce. He's just a Joe Joyce without a chin. He's just quicker. I would like to see Tyson Fury a clean fighter. Ooh. I see. At least Philippe will have a fight. Ah, that's true. Joyce has a good chin, but it's not granted. He got stopped 5 times. Yeah, he did. Counterpunch to you. I seen that shit. Man, hit him right in the kiss, and that motherfucker went down. I mean, on the seat of his ass. Bah! AJ has to develop his cardio and his mean streak. There was no reason he should. Maybe that motherfucker just made too much money, huh? Mark Madoff versus Joyce would be awesome. Yeah, it would be a fucking massive fight. That could be in Canada. I would like to see it. Or the UK. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. That man went down and he will go down. So, yeah, man. So, Joe Joyce can be knocked out. Everybody keep thinking that shit. Until someone does it. Because, see, this is what happens. Everyone, like, speak it, believe it, receive it. Listen, people are like this mostly. They believe what they see. Seeing is believing. Okay. So when somebody's seen Wilder get beat up, they know somebody else can beat him up. And Tyson knows that. Deep down inside, he knows anybody can. If you hurt Wilder and mop him and then you could stop him. You know what I mean? Like Tyson Fury was not even known to be a puncher once upon a time. You know what I mean? And, he went to Crunk's gym and reinvented himself. And found out I can actually punch. I can actually hurt Wilder. But we've seen Wilder hurt before. Shit, Chris Ari. No, 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 not Chris Ariola, but was it Eric Molina? He staggered Wilder. Harold Sconiers dropped Wilder, and you can't find that shit anywhere, which is crazy. Luis Ortiz stunned Wilder, which they gave him more time. There's a lot of stuff. Like a lot of people have hurt him. He's been hurt before. Kurt, what's up with that peach fuzz on the top? Let it go, bro. I know, King. I'm letting it go, man. I'm letting it grow. Bars. Let's see. Do you think Alan Babick can keep up with the top heavyweights? No, I don't. Dubois is another Brit boxer I have been watching. Too bad they're overhyping him. Well, I mean, he'll get beat by somebody. You know what I mean? I would like to see him and Frank Sanchez. I think it's time for that fight to happen. Frank and Daniel Dubois would be a very, very good fight. I want to see happen. What boxer from the UK would you like to see Jared Anderson fight? Man, he could fight Daniel Dubois. I don't think he's ready for somebody like Joe Joyce, even though Joe Joyce, is one of those special type, unique, should I say. He's a unique guy because he spent a lot of time in the amateurs. He's done a lot of shit. He has some interesting, like combat background, history. And like, no, I mean, if he wants to get beat up, look, Jared Anderson versus Joe Joyce could happen, but I don't think he's ready for him. I think someone like Jared Anderson should fight someone like Alan Babick. Take him out. Joe Joyce may be equivalent to George Foreman. Beast. Yeah. Babick is a gimmick fighter. He gets way too much press. Joe Joyce would sleep Wilder early. Or Wilder could sleep his ass early. I was going to say that, Kurt. Bomb squad to this day. But yeah, man, Wakanda Forever was great. Great movie. I will make a couple more videos today. I'll probably make more than that. I appreciate you guys coming on. We'll talk about some more boxing stuff. Thank you guys for tolerating the review and the backstory of how I worked on Black Panther. You know, but anyway, you guys be safe, be blessed, and everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.